All right, let's learn what our database language is. Let's make it simple and get back to our toy box and database analogy. We have the toy box where we keep all the toys neatly arranged. Now think of a database like a giant digital toy box where all sorts of information is stored. Just like you have ways to put toys in, take toys out, and rearrange them in your toy box, databases have special languages that help people do similar things with the information. These special languages are part of what we call a database system. The system uses two main types of languages: data definition language, DDL, and data manipulation language, DML. 1. Data definition language, DDL, is like setting up your toy box. It helps you decide what sections you have, like one for cars, another for action figures, etc., and how they should be arranged. So, in our university example, it would be one table for staff, another one for students, etc. 2. Data manipulation language, DML, is for playing with the toys, getting them out of the box, putting new ones in, throwing away broken ones, or moving them around. So, in Out University example, it would be insertion of new information into the database, like adding a new department in the department table. Retrieval of information stored in the database, like getting the list of students from the university. Modification of information stored in the database, which can be updating a new staff data to the staff table. Deletion of information from the database, like deleting a student record from the student table. There are two ways to use DML. 1. Procedural. This is like telling someone exactly how to find a toy. For example, go to the second shelf, move the puzzle box, and behind it is the toy car, which means the database requires a user to specify what data are needed and how to get those data. 2. Declarative. This is more like just saying, I need the toy car. You don't worry about where it is or how to get it. Our database figures that out for you. Since a user does not have to specify how to get the data, the database system has to figure out an efficient means of accessing data and get the requested data. We use a language called SQL, that is, structured query language, to talk to the databases. SQL helps the database to ask for information, put new information in, take information out, or change the information that's already there. In simpler terms, SQL helps you manage everything about your digital toy box, which is the database, so you can find and organize your toys or information easily. We previously compared DDL to setting up your toy box. To keep all the data organized and ensure it's used properly, we use specific rules and a special language known as Data Definition Language, DDL. Here is how DDL helps us. 1. Creating rules for information or domain constraints. DDL lets us decide what types of information we can put in different parts of our database, similar to deciding which toys go into which sections of a toy box. For instance, when we create a table for students in the database, we use DDL to specify that the student ID should always be a number, an integer, and the student name should be text, characters, making sure everything fits together, which is referential integrity. Just like ensuring all parts of a toy set fit together, DDL makes sure information in one part of the database correctly relates to information in another part. For example, if a course must be part of a department, DDL ensures that each course listed in the database actually belongs to an existing department. If you try to add a course without a matching department, the database won't let you, ensuring all pieces fit perfectly. 3. Assertions. An assertion in a database is like a big promise that the database has to keep no matter what. Domain constraints and referential integrity are special forms of assertions, but there are many constraints that we cannot express only using these two forms. For example, if a school database has a rule, or assertion, that says every department must offer at least 5 courses every semester, the database needs to check and make sure this is always true. If someone tries to change the database so that a department has fewer than 5 courses, the database will say, nope, that breaks the rule, and won't allow the change. So, an assertion helps keep important rules in place in the database to make sure everything works as it should, just like the rules at school help make sure everyone learns and behaves properly. Deciding who can do what, authorization. DDL also helps us control who can look at or change the information in our database. There are different permissions. Read authorization, which allows reading, but not modification of data. Insert authorization, which allows insertion of new data, but not modification of existing data. Update authorization, which allows modification but not deletion of data. And delete authorization, which allows deletion of data. We may assign the user all, none, or a combination of these types of authorization. Lastly, there's a special part of the database called the data dictionary, which is called metadata, that is, data about data, or like an index in a book. It helps the database remember all the rules and the setup details we've created with DDL. Only the database can change this part, not regular users. So, using DDL is like setting up our big digital filing cabinet with the right drawers and labels, and making sure only the right people can access or change the files. I hope you now have a better understanding of database languages. In our next video, we'll dive into relational databases. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe as it encourages me to create more content like this. Thank you for watching.